Apply Tailor Lube to the black O-ring on the prime plug and thread it into the door frame. Place the 2 orange O-rings onto the prime plug and apply Tailor Lube to the 2 O-rings. Insert the prime plug into the door frame, making sure that the top of the plug is facing away from the door so that the icebreaker can be inserted. Insert the icebreaker and turn the prime plug 90 degrees to lock into place. Insert the draw handle and top pin. Place the white bearing and black O-ring on the door. Neither of these parts needs lubricant at assembly. Place the small black O-ring on the torque armbar. And apply Tailor Lube. Place the white bearing guide on the opposite end of the torque arm. Place the boot seal and black O-ring on the drive shaft. Apply lube to the rear boot seal, O-ring, and drive shaft. No Tailor Lube should be applied to the square insert at the end of the drive shaft. Insert the drive shaft into the back of the freezing cylinder and push firmly into the motor coupling. You will feel it firmly inserted into the motor coupling. Attach scraper blades to the beater frame. Make sure to hold the scraper blades in place when inserting into the freezing cylinder. Looking down the barrel, align the beater frame to fit onto the drive shaft and set firmly in place. When set correctly, the beater frame will sit inside of the freezing cylinder. Insert the torque arm with the white bearing first into the center of the beater frame. Rotate the torque arm in the frame so that the small opening is facing up to receive the torque arm bar. Attach the door assembly by raising the L-shaped arm. Settle the door frame firmly against the outside of the freezing cylinder. Attach the door by placing the 4 door nuts onto the door bolts. Tighten door nuts on opposite corners to hand tight. Insert the torque arm through the top of the torque sensor and into the door frame. Test the door handle function by opening and closing the door. Pour the sanitizer solution into the hopper. Using the blue Tailor brush, scrub the sanitizer solution around the walls of the hopper. Turn the power switch left to wash mode. The sanitizer should be run for 8 to 10 minutes. Now, remove the sanitizer from the freezing cylinder. Place a bucket underneath the door opening. Open the prime plug on the door and partially open the door to allow the sanitizer to be flushed from the cylinder. Add the mix to the hopper until you see the mix coming from the freezer door. Once the mix coming from the door is the same color, close the freezer door. You have now removed all of the sanitizer from the freezing cylinder. Fill the mix hopper with product. As the product fills the freezing cylinder, you will hear the air coming from the prime plug. Close the prime plug once the mix level reaches the height of the prime plug. Place the lid on the mix hopper and turn the power switch to the right into freeze mode. Lift the L-shaped torque sensor, and the unit will begin rotation and freezing. The product will take 8 to 10 minutes to freeze down and be ready for service. If the admix light is flashing, it is important to fill the mix hopper as soon as possible to avoid damage to the freezer. Inside the hopper is the mix low sensor. If the mix level is below the sensor arm, the admix light will be flashing. The product should be added to completely cover the sensor and can be filled as high as the marking on the left side of the hopper.